Welcome back. Well, they finally held the Q&A. It was supposed to be last weekend, but it was postponed till this weekend for two reasons. One, there was a Hearthstone event, so that would have been bad timing. And two, they also admitted during this Q&A that they were still undecided on what to do about flying. They didn't want to make any decisions. You know, there's a team of people, and I guess it's very divided. And it was really up until the last minute that they came up with what they did, which I will explain in a moment. And this will be the blueprint for flying, they feel, in future expansions. So what is it about flying? There's a bunch of other things that they talked about, but let's talk about flying. They announced a couple of days before this Q&A that flying would be available only after you've completed a set of requirements. And I will put a link in the description for the post that they made about this. But, you know, there's exploration, there's treasure, the new area coming out in 6.2, Tenian Jungle, that has to be completed. Treasure hunts, there's reputation grinds, there's some things that have to be completed to enable flying, but once it is completed on one character, it is unlocked on your account. So you only have to go through this once. I think that's fair. It doesn't really bother me personally because many of these things were things that I intended to do anyway, like Lore Master for Draenor. I was going to do that. I was going to do that anyway. So telling me that I have to do it is, you know, like no big deal. When I said on Twitter that you shouldn't force people to do content that they don't enjoy, this is my point. If you go on Twitch and look at streamers that are starting a new toon, they rarely quest. They'll go in a dungeon and just level through dungeons, or they'll level through PvP. There are some people that literally level through professions. They just gather. That's all they do. They gather because that's what the purpose of that toon is for. So for those people, unless they have a main that actually likes to quest and do rep grinds and treasures hunts and all of that, you're forcing them to do content that they have zero interest in. I'm drinking water. Now, here's my thing about this. There's nothing wrong with people wanting to just PvP or do dungeons or gather because they're paying $15. And if they want to exclude 90% of the content, they've paid for the right to do so. The problem is when somebody wants to put in little effort and receive a lot of reward. You see what I'm saying? They're doing the content that interests them. So why aren't there achievements for flying that cater to the content that they care about in the game? So that's what I meant about having people do content that they don't enjoy. Because I feel that those people are doing the content, they're paying, and they have the right to, you know, not do content that they're not interested in. To me, that's the same difference as people that don't do the little events that go through the game. Are they wrong for not doing them? No, they just don't have any interest in them. Maybe the reward isn't worth the effort. It is what it is. Another point that I want to bring up, which sort of ties into transportation and flying, was that it was mentioned that the portals in Cataclysm made the world feel smaller because how quick it was to travel to each zone. And flying sort of goes into that because it was said during the Q&A that the majority of the team was against flying. So I give them props for listening and coming up with a solution. I give them props to that. But this making the world feel smaller, in my opinion, is bull. And I'm going to tell you why. In real life, there are many ways to travel. You can walk, you can go by car, you can go by boat, you can go by train, and you can fly. Flying is your fastest method of travel for long distances. Okay? How would you feel if they said, well, we're going to take away flying. We're going to close all the airports because it makes the world feel small. And we think that you should drive everywhere. I'm one of those people that I don't like car trips, really. I get fidgety because I prefer to spend my time doing what needs to be done once I get there than spending a lot of time trying to get there. Other games have portaling, and you don't hear discussions about the world feeling small or anything like that. It's a time issue. When this game launched, people were of a certain age. Now, if they're still in the game, they're 10 years older. So, it is very conceivable. Let's say the person was 18 when they first started playing this game. They're 28 now. They could probably be married with kids. And the time that you wait, time is actually more valuable than money. Money can be remade. Time, you can't get back. So we're talking 5-10 minutes here, 5-10 minutes there, and it adds up. So if you have responsibilities, are you really trying to tell me that being able to take 30 seconds to get from one place to another makes the world feel small? Come on now. Other games have portaling systems in it, and people still do the content. A very good example of that is Guild Wars 2. They don't have mounts, but you can portal between, for lack of another word, between areas. And I don't see a problem with that. I think that's one of the areas where World of Warcraft feels dated. For another example, when I summon a mount, why does it take any time? What is the logic behind that? Why? Don't give me an item and tell me to do it 10 times and then put a cooldown on the damn thing. Why can't I just click it when I need it and just have it done? And I'm not talking about abilities. I'm talking about I have to cleanse meat with this stuff that I collected. You know what I'm saying? It's in many ways, WoW feels dated, and that's one of those things with the portal, in my opinion. You can let me know what you think. Reputations. One of the areas that he took responsibility, for the company for screwing up was reputations. And he said that they're just grind fests and that they were added very late in the process. In my opinion, and I mentioned this previously, they picked the wrong time to launch the game. I understand that they wanted to launch it before the holidays, but during the holiday, you have the holidays, and then, during a launch with all the drama and stress and whatnot, people are going to want to take time off, and then you're going to have a lag unless there was, some serious efficient production going on with these teams. Then what about 6.1? Now, they admitted that maybe they shouldn't have called 6.1 because there really wasn't that much in it when you compare 6.1 to 6.2. He said that 6.2 reputations are better and that there are weekly and daily quests, and which you can do instead of, killing mobs forever and ever and ever. One other thing that I want to mention about flying is that it doesn't come in 6.2. It comes in the patch after 6.2 because there are some things. Remember I said that this decision was made rather late? Well, there are some bugs and things that need to be fixed before flying can be enabled, which is what I questioned before. Whether if you say, can you turn it on right now, could you do it? I didn't think so. People swore up and down, oh yes you can. It's enabled, but it's not ready. So That's why it's coming in 6.21 or whatever they decide to call it. So it's the patch after 6.2 that flying will be available. Quests. Let's talk about these Apexis crystals. They admitted that they sort of didn't implement that properly, and that the rewards for the crystals are bad. And they say that they have addressed this in the new area that's coming up, and that there will be better rewards for the Apexis crystals. Professions. They admitted that they wanted garrisons to have value, but they probably gave it too much value because professions got, thrown up under the bus because of the convenience of being able to get what you needed in your garrisons. So now what they're trying to do is correct that and give people reasons to go out in the world. Now, let me warn you, if you are one of those that has a bunch of alts, let me warn you now that they are very well aware of people having alts to maintain their main. And there will be diminishing returns coming 6.2 account-wide on gold. So that alleviates what their their idea is that people feel pressure to have alts and keep them maintained and whatnot. Other people feel like because there's nothing else to do, I have these alts. But you need to realize that diminishing returns are coming, so you need to plan appropriately. What else? Someone asked whether these garrisons will move into the next expansion. Well, the garrisons are for this expansion, but that doesn't mean that this type of gameplay will not have a home in further expansions, along with the lessons that they've learned from this expansion. So don't expect to be able to pick up your garrison and move it, but something like this will probably, just as remember in Halfway Hill or Half Hill or whatever that was, in Mists of Pandaria, you logged in and you took care of your little garden. Now we've moved up to garrisons. I hope that they continue having followers and missions and building an army. I think that's cool, but I think they should probably balance it for those that feel the need to sit in their garrisons all the time. And let me be very clear. I don't sit in my garrisons because I have a lot of shit to do, because I haven't done it previously. There are people that have done all the stuff that they were supposed to do and have nothing to do. So I'm not faulting you guys. I have said many, many times that there should be more content for you guys. I just have so much. It's like a fresh game to me. There's so much for me to do. A lot more was talked about: raids, dungeons, guilds, and whatnot, raid itemization. Now, one thing that I found interesting that they talked about was that there are going to be players that are not going to get their 735 weapons. They're just not going to drop. The reason why is because they felt that it was sort of boring to have everybody get everything. But I mean, the ability to get everything. So what's going to happen is that, for example, me playing the monk, I may get a 730 item, but the hunter will get the 735 and not the 730. And no, there weren't any PvP questions asked because he's not the PvP guy. So that would have been rather pointless to discuss that. So anyway, just want to let you know that you may not get the drops because they're simply not going to be there. Some people will get them, some people won't. Do your research first so that you don't have unrealistic expectations. I think that this should have been longer than an hour, and I mentioned that in a previous video. I think they should do these more often because I think that if they communicate more with the players, then there won't be so much anger and frustration. That's it for this one. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will see you guys in the next one.